Community members in East Tacoma will soon decide how to spend $1 million in their neighborhood. Liesl Santkuyl from the city's Office of Management and Budget is here to tell us more about the participatory budgeting process in this neighborhood and in future areas to come. Liesl, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So Liesl, let's just dive right in. Can you let our viewers know what is participatory budgeting?
Sure. It's really fun. It's a democratic process where people get to decide how to spend their government's money. From the very beginning, a community leadership team decides what kinds of rules, which neighborhoods they're going to focus in on, and what process they're going to follow. And that happens all the way through 3/4 of a year until they also vet the proposals that community has given in terms of ideas. So it's a very, very democratic, grassroots, organizing sort of principles that community really gets their voice heard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And Liesl, can you tell us how much funding does the project have?
Yes, this is really exciting. The City Council devoted $1 million to the East Side for this particular project. And so that $1 million goes completely into the community project. They also devoted, for other subsequent council districts, another $4 million. So a total of $5 million over the course of 4 or 5 years to go directly to community, voted on by what community wants.
Wow, very cool. And so currently the program is focusing on East Tacoma.
That's right.
And asking residents there how to spend the $1 million.
Yes.
So can you tell us about this process?
Yes. So again, this follows a 5-step process. In the fall of last year, several of the people working on it at the city gathered a community leadership group of about a dozen people from the East Tacoma neighborhoods. And they decided which neighborhoods they were going to focus on. They went into communities with our staff and asked for or solicited over 1,000 ideas, a thousand ideas of what should be done.
Okay.
And that happened all fall and into early this year, 2023. And then in the spring, all of those ideas were compiled and vetted within the city to say what's feasible for $1 million. Which of these ideas can happen. That was narrowed down to 30 ideas, taken back to the community and prioritized again. So the community leadership team got to look at all of those, got to hear why certain things would cost more than other things. Right. They synthesized or put together different ideas, and they came up with 4 ideas that are now being voted upon.
Nice. And how wonderful is it that the community has the opportunity to chime in on how they would like to see that money spent within their communities, right?
And they have the best ideas because they live in their neighborhood. They know what's going on. They know what's needed.
Exactly. And so can you also tell us what are the 4 community crafted proposals?
Yes, this is really exciting. I think all of them are great, and we hope that people watching this will vote if they live, work, play, or learn on the East Side. So the first one is a green spaces project. It's a workforce development. That means we hire people to do green space work. So watering trees, making parks be more beautiful, and making sure that those trees that are planted are taken care of and watered throughout 3 years. And so that also gives really good experience for people to put on their resume and be paid for that work. So that's a really great project. Another project is expanding our community garden work on the East Side to places that we haven't been before. But also there's a component that community wants that's more cultural food orientation, with classes of traditional foods that are grown, and business classes on top of that, so that the harvest that they grow can be made into small businesses where they can sell their produce to other people. And another piece of that is a commissary kitchen where they can produce that type of jellies, jams, chutney, use whatever they want to, that they can use that kitchen to produce those types of things. So it's kind of a community garden package.
Nice.
I know.
Wow.
And then
cool.
The third one, this one largely came from students at Lincoln High School, which we were thrilled about. They were looking for after-school activities, things that they could do. So this one was around physical things. So they wanted athletic fields expanded beyond Lincoln High School, and the Tacoma Public Schools was already doing that. So we said, what in addition to that would you want to see? They said we'd like it to be open later, and we'd like to have lighting for our tennis court so that we can, in the dark months of the year,
Yes.
be there after dark. So we checked with the Tacoma Public Schools if we could put in lighting and how much that would cost. So lighting will be part of the third project, along with a covered basketball court right next door in Lincoln Park. So that's another Metro Parks space, but right next door. And the students were really the ones that encouraged us to think about activities for them close by. And then the fourth one is related also to youth, and that is more after school or youth programming, along with some funding for cultural events. And that's over the course of a year. Because after school programming costs a great amount of money. But we understand the great need for that, and many, many people are interested in more in our community around after school and youth programming.
Right, and that's so important too, because the youth are our future, and it's important that we hear their voices too and their opinions. So that's really cool that they were able to provide some input as well.
Yeah, that's part of this process, is really getting voices that often don't get heard in our democratic process, because students don't get to vote. And it often works really well to go into schools and really hear the voice of students and then pay attention to what they're saying.
Nice, nice. And I'm sure they appreciate having their voices heard as well, knowing that what they have to say is equally important in this process.
Yes, it is.
Definitely. So can you tell our viewers how residents in the area can participate and cast their votes?
Yes. So there's several different ways. Throughout the East Side right now, we have ballot boxes in many different places, including our libraries and community centers, community health centers, all over. So there's paper ballots that people can just vote. There's 8 different languages, and they can vote. But of course, we have an online version as well, and we will show it hopefully here on the program, where you just take your phone and you go up to a QR code, and it pops up in your language. And which, if it's English, it will go through all of the voting steps, and you vote online. So super easy, technologically great for younger people in particular. And then we have posters that have that QR code as well all over town.
Okay, well, perfect. We definitely appreciate you coming on today and just emphasizing to our viewers, make sure you get those votes out there. Your opinion counts. Your voice matters.
Yes.
So thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. After the break, Tacoma streets came alive with the sound of music. We'll explain.